Talladega, 32 to go, but let's get you caught up with the Ram Race rundown on things that you've missed so far. Number one, Ricky, the return of pack racing.
Yeah, and this is what we expected, that these drivers are going to have to seize the moment. They have momentum, take advantage of it because they cannot lock up and double draft.
We've had 4 cautions so far for 20 laps. This was caution number 2. The reason James Busher went around on lap 44.
Yeah, he got bumped around a little bit, got back up into traffic, and took a couple of cars with him, but we have yet to see the monster of a wreck, but that was pretty bad.
Well, this was a pretty big one, an 8-car crash on lap 62.
Courage will get you to the front of the pack, but too much courage gets you in trouble, and I think that's what happened to Trevor Bayne.
And patience will get you to the end. You also need to have some patience on pit road. That's been a bit of a dicey area for some guys, including Chase Elliott just now.
Yeah, we see Chase here. He's got the green light to go, and the car comes in before him. He takes his time. It's really smart, though. Don't want to bump up these fenders and bend them because the aero is so important.
Leaving pit road here. Don't want to be late on this final stop. These guys are scrambling. Oh, it's really congested.
Tight.
You need your spotter to help you get out of the pits.
32 to go, and Alan, this is the part where you don't want to look away.
No. We always have the last lap pass for the win. Today shaping up to be much the same. The guy who made that last lap pass here a year ago, Regan Smith, in the 7, leads him to the green.
Casey Kane trying to push that outside lane. It's been a frustrating day for Casey. He's tried to use that second lane to move to the front and just not been able to get there. Trying to use this restart. And Ryan Sieg try to get that lead.
I'll tell you what, not a frustrating day though for Ryan Sieg. I mean, here's a guy, no sponsors on that car, kind of an underdog. One of these guys looking for an opportunity, maybe can win up front. But look, Andy, not up front just now. I've been up front all day long in this car.
He's had some adversity too. I mean, his engine overheating. You see steam blowing out the overflow. He had to get out of the pack, go to the back, finds his way right up front. Got the lead by a little bit right there into the corner.
Ryan Sieg is a 26-year-old from Tucker, Georgia. Only in his 13th career Nationwide Series race, his best finish, the season opener at Daytona. Now Kane able to get in between Chase Elliott and Regan Smith, the junior cars, teaming up to get to the bottom lane together.
Yeah, poor Ryan Sieg, they just kind of dumped him off. But that's what Casey Kane's been trying to do the whole race, is get there with his teammates at the front. They've got them 1, 2, 3 on the bottom. This is a pretty potent combination.
David Reagan, first car in that outside lane. Haven't seen him at the front yet today. He's got the Gibbs guys behind him. 54, Sam Hornish, 11, Elliott Sadler.
Well, you talk about the junior motorsports team. They just had a banner year all year long. 4 wins in the top first 8 races. Probably one of the best years Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s ever had with this race team. Kevin Harvick's winning in that car at Richmond. Chase Elliott, we've documented that story.
What happened there to Hornish? Accordion in that outside lane, and all of a sudden, 98, 54, they've disappeared.
They'll be back.
So what happened that scattered that outside line off turn 2 a lap ago?
Not real sure. It looked like Elliott Sadler just kind of hung Sam Hornish out.
Well, he's got what we call hung out to dry with nobody to help him draft. Lost that momentum, and he's back there now. Well, now they're hooked back up, so the truck get their way back up to the front. It's going to take them probably not too long to do that.
So Sadler all the way back to 12th. Hornish 14th as they race. With 3 Dale Jr. cars occupying the first 3 spots.
it's got to feel good, the success they've had this year, being really the dominant team in the Nationwide Series, winning half the races. Now his car's running 1, 2, 3. Life is good for Junior Motorsport.
Kevin Harvick winning last week at Richmond. Chase Elliott winning the 2 prior races to that. 3 straight wins for the junior team. Last team to win 4 straight was Joe Gibbs Racing back in 2008. Obviously, they've got a shot to win a 4th straight today, but we've got a long way to go still.
Hey, you look at that lap count, 27 to go. You think, well, we're getting right down to it, but not really. It takes a while to run 27 laps here at Talladega.
Yeah, 27 laps around this racetrack is a long way to go. I still have 10 laps buried in my head saying, man, you got to be in the right position with 10 to go, because that's when the stuff starts getting crazy.
Almost to 250 miles, 312 make up the scheduled distance. It's the Allen's 312 at Talladega that's being led by Regan Smith. Coming down to the dramatic finish today at Talladega. There'll be some drama tomorrow in Game 7s. But the first round of the NBA playoffs concludes on ABC. In the East at 1 Eastern, the Raptors hosting the Nets, with the winner getting a shot at the defending champion Heat. Then at 3:30 Eastern, the Western Conference top-seeded Spurs battle the Mavs. The winner gets the Blazers. With their win last night over the Rockets, they advance. It all starts with Kia NBA Countdown at 12:30. Tomorrow on ABC and live on Watch ESPN, Game 7's NBA playoffs. 22 laps to go. Regan Smith leading. Ryan Blaney trying to mount a charge in the outside lane. 3 Chevys on the inside line, now 2 Fords in the outside line. Blaney and David Reagan in Mustangs.
Alan, that's what they need on that outside lane. They just needed some better cars with some more power. When Blaney ducked out there, that really woke up that outside lane and really helped everybody.
Well, you can see this pack really getting organized. Everybody's right there together.
24 cars on the lead lap. 23 in the lead pack. Trevor Bayne has lost the draft. That's him ahead of this pack of leaders you caught a glimpse of a second ago.
And there's 22 cars within basically 1 second right there. 22 cars. A lot of tracks we go to, it might not be a 1 second between first and second, not first and 22nd.
Yeah. Watching some of the cars damaged in the accidents earlier today. Darrell Wallace in the 20, Trevor Bayne in the 6. Be overtaken by this lead group. That outside lane, we were talking about it amongst ourselves during the commercial. Casey Kane's kind of been the one that led the charge, trying to organize that outside lane and make it go, and was frustrated by it. It seemed like for a lot of the race, just couldn't get all the way to the leader. Brian Scott made the outside lane work up toward the front and was taken out in the accident. Now we see another group again trying to organize this outside lane and find a way to make it work. Why won't that outside lane work today?
Well, I'm looking at the horsepower of these cars right. You got all these Hendrick guys, these Hendrick engines in the top 3 positions. You know, it's really good power. Some of the cars up top, I'm just not for sure, are as good on that top lane. Now, I'm discounting the 22 car and the 11, the rest of them. But you need some really fast cars with a lot of power in that top lane to be able to go around the longer way around the racetrack and get it done. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think there's something.
Caution.
Caution.
Debris on the front straightaway. Something just came off of one of the cars that was damaged in one of the earlier accidents, probably from Trevor Bayne's.
Blew a left front tire.
See a fire?
Left front looks
Oh,
locked
right
up.
front too. Yeah, he's got probably had a tire rub. Got a big mess.
Right front's down. And the left front's locked up. Jamie?
And the spotter, Jason Hedleski, calling the shots, saw that fire about 15 seconds ago. He was talking his driver through what was happening, and he said, you need to come down pit road. We are on fire. And remember, all that damage, he pitted about 7 or 8 times. So it looks like their day could be finished now.
I'm surprised that car was running as good as it was. We commented on how well that thing was running in the draft with all that damage, but
Yeah, it could have ruptured an oil cooler in that earlier contact, and then that fire could have actually blown these tires out if you had a good enough flame under the hood. I could smell from here, you could smell the rubber burning.
That's just my brain cells actually trying to figure out how this is going to work here. And I'll ask and we can discuss. Do we see pit stops here? They were inside a fuel window when they stopped last time. Do we see pit stops?
Not me. Not if I'm making the call. I'm staying out.
And I'm curious, with team cars being lined up and brand cars where they are, how you're sitting on the pit box. How you strategize this restart to get yourself in the right lane so you've got a chance, because the laps are running low, and we just were talking about that outside lane doesn't seem to be working today.
Yeah, but the only one that has the choice in that is Regan Smith. If he stays out, he'll be the leader. He can decide whether he starts on the inside lane or the outside lane, and the top 3 cars are Junior Motorsports cars. So I don't think there's an advantage or disadvantage either way, because I think they can figure out a way to get back together on this restart.
about 15 laps since the last stop. So there's obviously plenty of laps.
The only reason I would pit, if there's any of these guys that have seen excessive tire wear, worry about the right front, maybe they'll come, but I would not pit my car right now at all if I didn't have any tire issues. It's just too tough to pass. I mean, this new rules package has made it very, very hard to make any ground. He can wave it all day, and I'm not going to bring my car down.
Stay out.
Think they listen to you, Andy.
No takers. Sam Hornish be the first one in. And he pits from 15th place. Still working the caution here at Talladega Superspeedway as we get ready for the frantic final laps of this one for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Then a week off before the series moves on to Iowa Speedway, Charlotte, Dover, Michigan, Road America. What a great variety of tracks coming up in the month of June and the rest of the month of May. And hope you'll join us at the track. NASCAR.com/tickets are the number at the bottom of the screen. So when we got to the caution flag, the junior motorsports teams that all started back in the 30s in this race had worked their way to 1, 2, and 3. Well, one of those guys is going to have to go to the outside lane for this restart, and then they're going to have to try and get back together again in the draft. Regan Smith, the leader, is our ESPN in-race reporter, and he's agreed to talk to us under the caution here.
Regan Smith, Rusty Wallace up in the ESPN booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, Rusty. Loud and clear, man.
Hey, buddy, good job so far, man. 32nd up to first, but I got a big question for you. Is that where you really want to be running with 1 lap to go? Or would you rather be back there in second and getting prepared for that big draft for the start-finish line?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't have an answer for that for you. You know, fortunately, I got 2 teammates behind me right now, so we'll try and make that happen. And if we can either way just fight it out amongst the ARM cars 1, 2, 3, then that's what we'll do. I anticipate the outside line getting another run at some point here. They were working on them right before that caution came out, so a lot of racing left to do. You know how this place is.
Regan, we've been talking up here in the booth. It looks like the top lane for a long time has not been moving at all, and you guys have been getting it done on the bottom. Are you concerned that that top lane won't run right now?
Well, not really. You know, if you ask me, it's because we got 3 fast junior motorsports Chevys lined up on the bottom, and they can't compete with us. So, you know, I think that's got something to do with the bottom line rolling. But, you know, we'll see. You get the right cars lined up, and they can make it happen.
All right, buddy. Have a great race. Thanks for talking to us.
Let me go.
Well, a year ago here at Talladega, in the frantic finish, it was Regan Smith in the 7, who, as chaos and mayhem broke out behind him, found a way to fight around everybody who was trying to be in his way. And when the caution wave was just ahead of that Penske 22, at the time of caution, the 7 by that much. And he scored the win. Took him a minute to get the word. NASCAR had to go back and confirm the exact moment of caution and who was ahead of who. But Regan Smith, the winner here a year ago. Now, Regan has chosen the outside lane for this restart.
Yeah, he's the one that's got the lane choice, and that's the best way to keep these junior motorsports cars lined up, because if they make a deal with the other 2 cars, they can get the jump here on this start, pull down in front, and they'll have them 1, 2, 3 again.
Look at the restart. David Starr, Mike Bliss, Chad Boat, Jeremy Clements. The great equalizer that the Talladega draft is.
Tell you what, I was really surprised at Regan's comments about how confident he is of the top lane. We've been seeing him on the bottom, but he answered a question I did wonder about. We did talk about. They got so much horsepower with junior motorsports on that bottom lane, they feel like they can move up to the top lane and get it done also. I haven't seen it.
I bet they don't.
I'll have to see it.
I bet they get glued to the bottom.
It's been working for them. I'd go to the bottom. But it's all about 1 lap to go, isn't it? They get within 10, that's when all the crazy stuff starts happening. But then they got to get set up. A lot of times you do not want to be leading that race, because those guys behind you will eat you up and spit you out, and he knows it.
23 cars on the lead lap. There'll be 14 laps to go. Expect the 5 to hesitate for a second on the restart. The 7 to pull down in front of him. And we'll see what turns from there.
Exactly what they did. Already 1, 2, 3 on the bottom.
Now David Starr and Mike Bliss are the first 2 cars in that outside lane. Jeremy Clements, Ryan Sieg, 3rd and 4th in line.
We can hear Chase Elliott having to get out of the throttle just a little bit. I'm not sure if they were having to lift in front of him.
Looks like
Starr gets the lead.
He's getting bumped in the back pretty hard by the 60 car, Chris Boucher.
David Starr turns down in front of Regan Smith.
Dig hard, you got Regan behind you.
That was a great move by David Starr.
Hear the spotter saying, dig hard, dig hard.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, as a driver, you're wide open anyway. It's pretty hard to dig anymore.
Can't push that throttle any harder, can you?
No, you can't. We already got the floorboard bent, trying to make those babies go. I'll tell you, I got to give a shout out to these underfunded teams. You look up there and see that 44 car leading that race, and that's 39, and Ryan Seed's so strong today. Mike Bliss's number 19 car has been up there and looking good.
That Mark Smith, the TriStar, got to be really proud to see his car out front.
Ryan Blaney, Elliott, Sadler. I was just about to say, when does somebody try the outside again? Here they go.
And this time they may have some more advantage with that 44 on the lead and not having one of the stronger cars like Regan Smith or some of the ones we've seen up front leading that line. This might be an opportunity for the outside lane.
Yeah, I personally think there's more horsepower under the hood of that 7 car than there is the 44. I'm not for sure, but that 44
gets a
could be
shot.
slowing him down.
You see that shot Regan Smith gives him right there off the corner.
He's like, get out of the way. 44 is like, I'm not moving nowhere. I got a fast car too.
You're going to have to pass me.
That's right.
No one has been called today for push drafting. Remember, you're allowed to bump draft. You're not allowed to lock bumpers and push draft.
I've really not seen anything that would call that I think they should call out as a penalty. I've seen a lot of bumping, but I haven't seen any of the real tandem pushing today.
The temptation's going to get a lot greater.
Yep, you're right. As these laps wind down.
That's right.
Andy, earlier I told you about it. These cars getting compacted together so tight you just can't really make a move. That's what's going on right now. There's hardly much air when these guys get in the center of the corner. I see them many times get compacted, and man, it's hard to move that car around when that's going on.
I think Regan Smith's doing an incredible job of being just so close to the back bumper of David Starr without pushing and getting a penalty. He's drafted right there within inches.
Yeah, he whacked him a couple times and then got off his bumper, gave him a break because he didn't want to get busted by NASCAR. Regan didn't.
David Starr, the 46-year-old from Houston, Texas originally, out in front as Chase Elliott pops out from the inside lane. Going to make a run to the outside.
I'm not sure if he meant to or if he kind of got forced out there.
Little bump from behind that set him out of control.
It could have been. I don't know if he did this on purpose or not, but he's not to make it work now. And then he is.
Well, take a look. It's 10 to go. We're coming up at 10 laps to go right now. This is go time. These cats have got to get it on.
Regan Smith shuffled out of the middle.
Casey Kane was trying to block that outside lane on his teammate, Chase Elliott.
Oh, boy. A lot of contact here. And turned away. Chad Boat into that inside wall hard.
And he hit exactly at the wrong spot, right where that wall protrudes out.
You're having such a good day. That's too bad. You could see it happening, though, couldn't you?
Well,
intensity level coming up, more bumping, shoving.
I can promise you, when we go back green, that's when it's going to get really crazy. I hate this for Chad Boat.
Yeah, he's running 7th.
The window net's down. That's great news. He looks like he's in okay shape at the moment.
Well, going back off of turn 4, when Chase Elliott got kind of popped out of that inside line, the whole group kind of accordioned together. When they came off of turn 2 and Regan Smith got popped out of line, they really started knocking bumpers and fenders, and the end result was that.
Yeah, it's just everybody was just, like you said, just so jammed up. He was running 7th right here on the bottom. I mean, he was in a good spot. You see everybody just getting antsy. Oh, that's too bad. Look at this. Now, this is a bad spot he hit.
Thank gosh that soft wall was there. That wall.
Guarantee he didn't think it was soft.
I'll tell you, that wall that NASCAR and the guys have designed, that's really helped a lot of drivers. I can tell you that.
You can see it was just an accordion thing, and everybody kind of just had to check up just a little bit. I mean, Jeremy Clements did make the contact that sent him spinning, but it obviously not intentional.
You can't go below those yellow lines and advance your position. You're trying not to lift out of the gas, but you got somebody hung by the left rear.
I'll shorten that thing up.
And that was a hard hit.
You can see even the outside lane, everybody was jammed up. I mean, yeah, it's a good thing they have protected that with a safer barrier.
One of the greatest inventions NASCAR's ever invented, with a lot of help from different people. But boy, I really think it saved lives. I think it saved a lot of people. There's a big
caution out with less than 10 laps to go now. And I come back to that whole thing starting. My curiosity goes back to how Chase Elliott got popped out of line off of turn 4 that really started that whole accordion thing. And whereas before we saw Dale Jr.'s team trying to orchestrate the restart to get themselves lined up 1, 2, 3, David Starr gets bumped around to the front, and then the whole thing starts to fall apart for the Junior team.
Well, not totally, though. I think now this might be an actual break, because you got Chase Elliott now the leader. In 4th place, you have Casey Kane. So Chase can choose the outside lane, and he'll have help from him on that outside lane.
You know, that's all that stuff we're talking about right now is great stuff to talk about. But if it's 2 laps to go, you can maybe make a deal and figure out what lane's going to be the one to get in. But Andy, we got 7, 8 laps to go. There's a lot of time, and I couldn't predict right now what you got to do to win this race, because everybody behind them is going to give such a big draft.
Yeah, there may not be enough lanes on this track.
That's right. I mean,
get bumped a lot is what you got to do, and keep it straight while you're getting bumped. You know, I mean, that's what we've seen so far. Going to be interesting for sure. So through all that jumbling and jamming, Chase Elliott ends up as the race leader. How many laps will there be left when the green flag waves, Doc?
Well, let's check in Chase Elliott's pit here with Greg Ives. And Greg, we've heard on the radio about vibrations, gauges going blank, backup ignitions, and now with a few laps to go, you guys are leading. Does Chase have enough experience and race car to hold on here?
Well, we're sure making it exciting here in the Nationwide Insurance Series with this Napa Camaro, and he's doing a well of a job. You know, we're not satisfied with our qualifying effort yesterday, and you know, it gave us advantage to maybe learn a little bit about the draft and have him gain some experience. So, you know, he had 110 laps to gain some experience, and hopefully he has enough for the end, and I think he does.
He said at Daytona the last lap he got shuffled from 3rd and finished 15th. He said what he learned at Daytona was, I've got to be aggressive in the final 2 or 3 laps. What does that mean?
Just kind of like what you just saw. You know what I mean? He saw a move and he took it. In Daytona, you know, he didn't make that move, and today he did. So we'll see if we hold on to it, and if we do, great. If not, we're going to learn a lot from this experience.
All right, Greg Ives, Chase Elliott from 37th now to leading with a few laps to go. Dave.
Doc standing by with Greg Conner, who is calling the shots for David Starr. Okay, I know you're watching to see which lane you get. How do you think David handles this restart?
Well, I hope he does really good. Right now, Steely Lumber Toyota's been really good all day. They're going to take the top side, which puts us at the bottom, which is better for us. We've been really bad up top. So hopefully we'll get a good run here. Last time we got a good run, their teammates were trying to get together and held them up a little bit. So a little bit of help here, be 5, 6 laps to go, and we'll see how it takes out. Typical Talladega.
On that last restart, it looked like the Junior Motorsports team had it nailed. How hard were you willing David to the front on that outside line?
Oh, we were all just screaming and hollering. I think we drove for him, but he did a good job. I think they held up a little bit trying to get together. They let us get a run. So we'll see what happens here.
All right. The 44 has a shot. Doc?
And let's check in with Ernie Cope. You've got the most experienced driver up there in that front 4, 5, or 6 with Casey Kane. What does he have, and what does he do here in the final laps?
Hopefully he just pushes that 9 car. I mean, Nationwide Insurance got another great race on their hands here. Hopefully we clear the 44. I mean, you never know. The 22 is going to be pushing the 44, so we'll see how it shake out.
All right, Casey Kane going to try to help his teammate, the 9 car, but I got to believe, AB, in the final lap or two, it's every man for himself.
Yeah, everybody wants the trophy. You see Chase Elliott has chosen the outside lane to be lined up in front of Casey Kane, but, you know, can they get the jump, and can they make it go?
Plan is the 43 is going to push the 5, and he's going to push you, and we're going to wait till the 5 gets past the 44 before we come down. I was about to ask that.
All that pushing's fine, but you can't push too much.
Well, they can't be making contact. And there's other, you know, when they're saying push, they mean as much as aerodynamic push as they do a mechanical push. They have to stay really locked in line to make the most efficient craft they can.
6 laps to go when they get the green flag. Chase Elliott outside in the 9 is the leader, David Starr, 44. Beside him, second row is Ryan Blaney, 22, and 5, Casey Kane.
Not able to look. David Starr gets a big lead on Chase Elliott. I'm shocked. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting right now, that top lane. Because you got fast cars, the 22 car. Blaney taking the lead right there.
Lead, yep. Ryan Blaney, who I thought was back, and now Elliott Sadler to his inside. Oh, trouble! Back into the pack. Hard hit on the outside wall.
All right, hold on. Caution, 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 caution.
Jeremy Clements in that 51. You see Casey Kane's car in flames. And another crash in the late laps. Takes out more
let's take a look at the right
potential
side.
winners.
Is your steering wheel way off?
A hard hit on the right side of that 51 car for Jeremy Clements. You see him climbing from the machine. That's good to see. Look how torn up that car is. There's a fine line between the side drafting, the bump drafting, trying to block and defend the lead or keep somebody behind you, and contact that puts you into the wall.
Alan, there is a fine line, and a lot of that goes on early in the race. At the very end of the race, it's all about each other, and it's all about just take and no give, and that's what's going on with this late.
Yeah, that was a move. Brian Blaney made an aggressive move to get that side draft, and it was a little too aggressive. He's basically kind of the one I would put at fault for that one.
Yeah, he body slammed himself down in there, but a lot of times when you see the inside line going away from you, you want to sail back down there, lock up on that guy's right side, then kill his aerodynamics so he doesn't advance on you. That was a very aggressive way to do it if that's what happened.
Yeah, good angle there. I wanted to see if he got nipped from behind by anybody. I didn't think that he had, but that confirms it. And Chase Elliott took a piece of that.
That's what sent Jeremy Clements hard into the wall. But that 9 car has damage.
The wrecking up top, stand up gas at the bottom, stand the gas at the bottom, clear, all clear, all clear, all clear. Out right there, out, caution.
And from Chase Elliott's view.
What a hard hit for Elliott.
You got it on both sides.
Guys, I really think that Blaney came down to stop that advance of the draft, and that's what caused that.
Oh, that was such a hard lick for Jeremy Clements. Good to see him get out of that car. That was tough lick.
And the red flag out. You see the field parked, and a lot of cleanup to be done here to get this race back underway.
See what Chase Elliott has to deal with. They may need to make a pit stop and clearance those fenders. It's like the tires are up.
You can see in the back side of the right front fender at Elliott's car, it looks like it's the fender's laying right against the tire, it looks like.
Now, all of this came about after the order at the front of the pack was really jumbled on the last restart. This caught my eye. Tell me what you think. Look how far back Ryan Blaney is off of David Starr. He got a run that was able to give that 44 a big bump draft and push him out ahead of the 9 and 5 and make that inside lane, help it go.
No, that's exactly what happened. It's a great call on your part. I mean, he pushed him, he got him going, and just accelerated him right out there.
It's amazing to me, though, how many spots Chase Elliott lost on that restart. He was the leader. And he looked like he got the jump. I mean, he went, but like you said, that bump that the 22 gave David Starr, evidently enough to move him by, and then here they go.
And bumped by him.
Yeah.
And from there, it got ugly at the end of this straightaway right here. So just every time I see that, what a vicious hit for Jeremy Clements. I'm so glad to see him pop out of that 51 car.
I mean, you watch the 22, even Ryan Blaney, he made a pretty good lick up there on that outside wall, but then, boy, when you see Clements, about 10 times worse.
So red flag is out. We're going to have less than 5 laps to go when the race resumes, and quiet along the pit lane for just a moment, Dave.
And Chris Gale is the crew chief for the car that got bounced off of. How fortunate do you think you are to escape that?
Very fortunate. Just looked like a deal where we got to the bottom. He didn't realize we were there, or he wasn't completely clear and got into us. Unfortunate, but I kind of like our position where we're sitting right now. Looking forward to these next 5 laps.
Were you surprised how poor restart the 9 got and helped you guys get to the front?
You know, I wasn't sure. Yes, I was surprised it was that bad, but that bottom line had been getting a good run for a while there, and so I knew if 3 guys would stay lined up and get going, it's like, okay, this could be really good for us. So really optimistic about the next few laps.
11 car in a good position, Doc.
And what about the 98 car? John Hansen calling the shots for a small team with a big chance today. What about your driver? How does he stack up against the 3 cars in front of him?
Well, I think we got the best one out there for sure. Roush Yates, engine, good car. We're starting 3rd here, so we'll be on the inside, and we'll just give it a shot with 5 to go.
Your guy has won 2 races here at Talladega. Last May, the Cup race, and his very first nationwide race with last lap passes. Why is he so good on the last lap? I know you guys have chatted about it.
Yeah, I don't know. He'd have to tell you that one. I think we'll be pretty good here. We'll just see what happens.
David Reagan led 2 laps, 2 races here, 1 nationwide, 1 Cup, and won them both, Alan, so stay tuned.
Well, David Reagan is one of those guys that the drafting racing seems to be something he has a real knack for. He's won at Daytona before, and he's won here at Talladega before in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. This a year ago, when the usual late big one set up a frantic scramble to the finish, and David, driving the 34 car for Front Row Motorsports, got to the checkered flag first. Still under the red flag, still cleaning up here at Talladega. Our NASCAR Nationwide Series telecast today presented by Victory Motorcycles. And still with 5 very unpredictable laps left to go, especially after what we've seen here in the last 45 minutes to an hour or so. of this one. We're working our 7th caution of the day, and a number of hits and bangs and crunches here in these late laps at Talladega have certainly thinned the herd of potential winners. Chad Boat getting turned out of traffic on the backstretch a little while ago. And then Jeremy Clements in this most recent caution with a huge hit into the barriers in turn number 3. Ryan Blaney first in, and then Clements clipped. And what a heavy impact. Drivers putting all their safety gear to the test today, including that SAFER barrier. Steel and foam energy reduction is what SAFER stands for, developed by the folks at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the Midwest Center for Roadside Safety, Dr. Dean Sicking at the University of Nebraska. It has been one of the great safety innovations. I remember the late Benny Parsons always saying they got to do something about these hard walls we hit.
Yeah, the drivers always said, just make the wall softer somehow. And you're right, Nebraska State University, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, NASCAR, all these guys were involved in this.
And certainly one of the great safety innovations for protecting drivers in this sport's history. Waiting for the yellow flag and the field to be fired back up. Let's check with Jamie.
Well, Chad Boat, as you guys mentioned, it was one of the hardest hits we've seen all day. It took you a little while to get out here, Chad. How are you feeling, and are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. They were just keeping me because it was such a hard hit, but I'm fine. All my safety equipment did their job. So, I just can't say enough about my team. For a small team, we were running pretty good, and, it sucks. It just seemed like they stacked up there in front of me, and then I got tagged from the rear. Kind of a racing deal, but unfortunate that it was so close to the end, but so far, I think there's still 10 to go. So,
Billy Boat Motorsports, this is just your 3rd ever start in the Nationwide Series. When will we see you back?
We'll be back at the next 2, Iowa and Charlotte, so we're looking forward to that. We got brand new cars for both of them, so we'll be back.
Great to see you're okay. We'll move over here to Casey Kane, meanwhile. Casey, hard hit for you as well. That's not the welcome back to Nationwide that we wanted to see. Are you okay, and what happened?
Yeah, I didn't have a hard hit at all. I just ran in the back of the 22 when he came off the wall. He came back across and really had nowhere to go. So I hit him, and then an oil line or something broke. So it was a quick fire, went out, but my car wouldn't run, so I just had to go to the care center. But it was, we had a really good, great Clip Chevrolet. We were right in the middle of it throughout the whole race, got right to the front. And I just wanted to get to the last lap and see if we could somehow figure out how to win. The team did a nice job. Junior Motorsports cars have been up front every week, so it's nice to drive one. I had a good time.
Are we going to get to see you back in one of these races?
I hope so.
Maybe Daytona?
Daytona for sure. And then there's like 3 more races that I'd like to run. We're trying to put that together, and so we'll see what happens.
Despite a bad day, he's still optimistic, excited to come back, Dave.
And Jamie, the 22 of Ryan Blaney, the car that triggered all that, he is starting to roll off a little bit so the crew can get a good look at the clearance they've done on the right side. And the way that he hit flush like that, they think that he might be okay to go. So they've made repairs to get those tires cleared. And Alan, haven't we seen at these restrictor plate races before where a damaged race car can sometimes come back to the front?
Nothing would surprise me with what we've seen today. There aren't going to be too many cars left to finish this thing that aren't damaged in some way, Dave. Chris Buescher's car looks pretty clean. 60 car now running second to Elliott Sadler. And maybe the young one from Texas has a shot at this win.
I was scanning the 7. They were saying that when the 9 was in that outside lane, he did not try to side draft or do anything. And they felt like that's why that inside line just flew by him. 10-4, got it.
Interesting observation.
Yeah, but be careful. That's what caused this last caution. Somebody trying to too aggressively side draft.
Yeah. Chase Elliott's in, Doc.
And right front damage. The right front tire is towed out. They don't have time to fix it. Damage behind the right rear tire. They're going to try to make a damage assessment and do the best they can. Change tires. They said, Chase, it's towed out. Not going to be able to do much there. Pull on the fender. Try to get him some downforce there and make sure everything's okay there. Finally got the tire off and the wheel off. It was buckled in against the tire. Now they'll try to peel that away and get a fresh right front tire on. So a damaged car, number 9, got under the outside wall after being hit in the quarter panel. Now they go ahead and change left side tires. And Chase says the car may be drivable just fine. We'll see. although it's not going to drive real well, obviously with the damage on the right front and the right rear.
They got this one shot to fix it. It's one to go.
And he's got to catch up.
Yeah,
the field also before
they're in turn 2 now.
The green flag. So doubled up for the restart. We'll see green with 3 laps to go. How this one's going to turn out at Talladega, your guess is good as mine. I do know this for sure. In 2 weeks, the Nationwide Series returns to the track at Iowa Speedway for a Sunday afternoon show, 1:30 Eastern on ESPN. Trevor Bayne, Brad Keselowski, the 2 winners at Iowa there a year ago. Somebody's going to take home the trophy from Newton, Iowa next race. That's in a couple of weeks here on ESPN. Always a good one. So 3 laps to go when they come to the green. The last couple of restarts, mayhem would be a fairly appropriate word.
Definitely mayhem. 4 laps to go.
Got 18, make it 19 cars on the lead lap. And we're going to equal the longest green flag stretch to finish a race here at Talladega in the last 11 times. Of course, the distance of a green-white checker finish is 3 laps. So if we don't get through this one, then there's a chance we'll have another 3-lap run to the finish.
And then maybe another one.
Up to 3. Elliott, Sadler, the leader. David Reagan, 98 behind him. Outside lane, Chris Buescher, 60. Regan Smith, 7. 3 laps to go. Hold your breath.
Dead heat going into 3.
You got to remember that 98 car we're looking at right there. That's got Roush power. So a lot of horsepower under the hood of that 98 car also. It can get the job done.
David Reagan, you saw bumping Elliott Sadler, but not leaning on him. Pushes the 11 to the front. Somebody overheating in the middle of that pack. Looks like Joey Gates in the 52. 2 laps to go. Sadler and Chris Buescher. Single file now. Double wide to 3rd. Reagan and Regan Smith.
Elliott Sadler kind of blocked both lanes.
Get down.
Not going to be able to hold off Chris Buescher, though.
He's got this 7 car, Regan Smith, right behind him. We know that car is fast. Same car won the race in Daytona for Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team.
Here they come to the white flag. We are on the last lap of the race. Chris Buescher outside, Elliott Sadler inside. Bumping, pushing, side drafting. Who gets back first?
And nobody can clear each other. They're locked together side by side drafting.
Landon Castle and Joe Nemechek, the 3rd pair, if something happens to these front 4. Cars steaming and overheating everywhere. Castle with a move to the inside. Reagan blocks him off. That clears Elliott Sadler in front. Final corner. Regan Smith looking to the outside. To the checkered flag. Elliott Sadler wins it.
That's the way to call it. Great job, man. Hell yeah, man. I'll stop for you, man. Great job.
Emotion is overcoming. Congratulations. You won match financial Elliott Sadler. You won victory lane. That's awesome.
He celebrated a birthday this week, did Elliott Sadler.
So glad we finally won a race with me.
You know, some drivers talk about how they hate racing here because it's so nerve-wracking, but boy, does it feel good when you win here.
Oh, gosh, when you win a super speedway like Talladega, that's everything in the world. Got that victory, and right now, he's only 1 point out of the lead for the championship.
Sadler's last win was in August of 2012. Paired up with Joe Gibbs Racing, was frustrated last season. Have started this season with a couple of frustrating days also, but then the corner began to turn a few weeks ago. Had a great chance to win at Darlington, ran well last race. And here at Talladega, used that experience in those drafts and a pretty strong race car, by the way, to hold them all off in that frantic finish and score a win.
He earned this one. I'll tell you, that was a tough race. It was really nerve-wracking. Put himself in the right position and pulled it off.
He had a great restart. He did what he had to do at the very end. You saw him running right in the center there, blocking off the top lane and the bottom lane.
Oh, that's great. Look at him now. I love the motion, and he's got it right now.
What about that guy? Chris Buescher, great run for that young man.
Almost pulled it off.
Yeah, he almost won that race.
Regan Smith has to settle for third. Not sure I thought they'd make it around those 3 laps without somebody getting turned sideways out of this lap. Look at the cars, bumping, pushing sideways.
Steam, flying. You see the 01 of Castle tried to make a move on the bottom, and somebody shut the door on him. They didn't crash.
Sam Horner sneaks in there.
And our Midas golden touch of the race to Elliott Sadler, who had a little luck on his side, made all the right moves. I remember one point he was locked in that outside lane about 7-8 rows back, and we were sitting there saying, how they going to make that work to get to the front? Well, they did. Doc?
Yeah, Regan Smith, Mr. Restrictor Plate. He won at Daytona. He won this race a year ago. And Regan, you made several moves on that last lap. Take us through what you were doing or what you were trying to do here off of 4.
I don't know what I was trying to do. I was just trying to get to where I had a little daylight out front of the race car and could finish off the move with the Ragu Chevy. But, nonetheless, these guys keep building fast speedway cars. I love coming to these places with the equipment Junior Motorsports gives us. And, we needed that. We've been in the top 10 all year long, but we needed to get back in the top 5. And we've been working hard. It's, it's been a little bit of a grind at times this year. So, hate being able to see the flag and not get there first. But, it was a good day nonetheless.
All right, well done by Regan Smith. Alan?
While those last few laps were going on, Jeremy Clements was released from the Infield Medical Center. Good news there after that hard crash he was involved in. He's okay. And really okay is Elliott Sadler with his first win in the Nationwide Series at Talladega, the 7th different winner this season, and he's going to celebrate.
And he's shaking and he's sweating and he's worked hard today. And after you fell back, Elliott, how'd you get up there and win?
Well, we just got on the inside line there, and we just had to make some good moves, and the seat kind of opened up for us. But this means a lot to me to get these guys in victory lane. I disappointed them last year and weren't able to do it. We have a lot of people here from One Main Financial today. So glad to win with Mary and Kim and all those guys here. It means a lot to me. And do it at Talladega. Everybody else always asks about flipping at Talladega. Damn it, now we won one at Talladega, so this feels a lot better.
We talked before the race about getting here. You mentioned Brett Griffin, your spotter. How important was having such a good spotter today?
Well, he did a good job there at the end. And under the red flag, I was playing all these scenarios in my head, really on how many races I've lost here in the last couple laps, not making the right decision. But we just stayed to the bottom, stuck to our guns. David Reagan did a good job pushing us, and we were just able to hold those guys off at the end. So Brett did a great job. He deserves this. He did a great job getting us all on the front row yesterday. But it means a lot. I'm telling you, it means a lot for me to get this JGR team to victory lane. They worked their butts off last year. I wasn't able to reward them. Chris is doing a great job. We're getting a lot of momentum on our side. We let one get away from us at Darlington. So to come back here and do one for all our sponsors with Sport Clips, Coca-Cola, One Main Financial, Toyota, everybody that's a partner at JGR, man, makes us feel good.
Elliott didn't overthink it, and he's in victory lane at Talladega.
Chris Gale, the crew chief, celebrating a win.
Some of the best racing I've seen all year long in the Nationwide Series. It didn't disappoint us today. Nobody got hurt. We saw some great racing. I loved it.
And in a couple of weeks, it's on to the Iowa Speedway, Sunday, May 18th, 1:30 Eastern on ESPN for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And next on ESPN is Sports Center. Lots to talk about in the sports world, including Elliott Sadler's Talladega win.
People love to say, well, anything can happen. At Talladega, anything doesn't just happen. It's standard operating procedure.
They're all recognizing everybody's record.
And anything doesn't care who you are, what lap it is, or how many laps you've led. The only lap that matters is the last lap.